Hello everyone, welcome back to the full stack web development course. So in the previous lecture we have seen how to ask a question, and after asking this question it has been saved to the database. You can see there's a schema called questions, and inside that questions we do have our record for a particular question. Now in this lecture what we're gonna do is that we're gonna retrieve this data from the backend, from the database to the backend and to the front end, and we're gonna display it in the home. So that's what we're gonna do. So we will go to the code part. So you can see our front end and the backend is running in the terminal now. We will just close this. Let me close all of these things. Let me collapse this too. We will open the server. In that, let me just open the routes first, and in that route I'm just going to have an extra statement called router.get. This is going to be a get request / get, because we're going to just retrieve all the data. So that's where we are using a get request, and I'm just going to write a function called get all questions. So we have to create this function first in order to use that particular function. So we're gonna just import the get all questions function directly from the questions controller. So let me just rename this, and now we will just go to the controllers, and in that questions, in here we have to write another default export const, and the function is going to be named as get all questions, which is going to equal to request and response. So this is going to be an asynchronous function because we're going to access the database which is deployed in a cloud. So we do have to add an asynchronous keyword. So first we just gonna have functions called get all questions. In that thing, this is a capital Q, and in that we have to get the const id, which is gonna be underscore id. First we're gonna have a try catch block. In that we're gonna have a const question list, which is going to be equal to await questions dot find. So this questions is nothing but the schema which we have imported, and then this question list is gonna have all the records which is gonna be inside this question schema. So question schema is nothing but this questions, and inside that we do have many records. As of now, in our case we just have only one record. Now we're gonna just retrieve this record from the database. So what dot find method is gonna do, it's gonna find all the records inside questions, and it's gonna put it everything inside this question list. So now we will send this question list as a response to the client. The status is gonna be 200, which means okay, and the JSON is gonna be contain the question list. So if there is an error in the meantime, we're gonna just catch that, and we're gonna just send a response of status 404, which means not found, and then we're gonna just send the JSON of, it's gonna have a message, it's gonna have error dot message. So that's it. This is very simple to get the data from the database. So now this we have to gonna implement this in the front end. So now we will close this. So to make this request, the URL is gonna be like this. We will open the index. Here we will be having the question route. So the URL is gonna be like localhost 3000 slash questions slash get. This is gonna be the URL for this particular thing. So let me just close everything and close this also. Let me open the client. Inside that, we will first gonna go to this API. Inside that, we do have the request. Here we have to write an export const which is going to have our get all questions, which is gonna have nothing as a parameter because this is gonna be a get request. You can't pass anything as a parameter, and in that API is nothing but the URL, and we're gonna send a get request, and the URL is gonna be like questions slash get. That's it. So this simple URL can retrieve all the data from the database. So now let me close this index and open this action called questions, and in here I'm just going to write another action which is going to use that use to get the data from the database. So I'm going to write a function called fetch all questions, which is going to equal to an empty parameter. It's going to have an asynchronous function which is going to just dispatch this to the to the store. And in here we will be having another try catch block, and in this try catch block I'm just going to have const data, which is going to get all the questions list from the backend, and the request goes like this: await API dot get all questions. So this is the function which we have wrote in here. So we're just going to get that, and the data is going to be in the const data, and in here we're just going to dispatch that data to the store by just having a type as, the type is going to be like fetch all questions, and in here I'm just going to have a payload, and the payload is going to be the data, and then if there's an error we'll just catch that and we'll just do a console of that error. So let me save this, and we will now go to the reducers, open this question. In here we will write another switch case, which gonna just say like case is gonna be fetch all questions, which we have used earlier. So make sure this question this string must exactly match this particular string. So in here I have left this s, so that's how the action will match the exact location, and we're just going to return the so far state along with the data of action dot payload. And in here for posting the question, we don't want to fetch the data. We'll just leave it with the so far data because we want to just do a trick. Let me see what the trick is going to be. So in here first we will leave something like this, and now how do we trigger this action to fetch all the questions? So we have triggered this ask question in the ask question page. So let me just go to the ask question page. In here, whenever I am reviewing my question, this action is gonna be triggered. So but for fetching all the questions, there's no trigger point in our app. We need to get the updated question each and every time. So what we can do, we can use a use effect inside the app.js file. So if we use the use effect in the app, whenever our application is live, it the use effect statement is gonna run. So that's what it means. In here, I'm just going to have an use effect. So this use effect has to be imported, and then we'll just import the use effect from React, and I'm just going to import the action. Import action is gonna be fetch all questions from dot slash actions slash questions, and I'm just going to also import the use dispatch hook to dispatch the action which we are going to use inside the use case statement, use effect statement. Dispatch from use dispatch from React Redux. So now in here we will remove these things, and in here I'm just going to import this input also, and the inside the use effect I'm just going to dispatch that specific dispatch that specific action. So first let me just have a const dispatch. I don't need this function, let me remove that. In here I don't need an extra const. So what I'm here going to do, I'm just going to dispatch that fetch all questions action. So just do a dispatch of fetch all questions. So this fetch all questions is nothing but a function which has no parameter, because this is nothing but a get request from the database. So now you can see this dependency array is going to be the dispatch, because whenever we are using the dispatch, this use effect will run. So that's what this dependency array means. So now we have done with that. Now, so where we are gonna, if we now this use effect must run, and the data must be stored in the store of the Redux. So we will see, here's an expected function callback instead of an expression in line 13. So I think we have to refresh this page now. So now there is no error. So now this use effect has to be run, and the data has been stored in the database, in the Redux, which means we have retrieved the data from the backend and we have stored in the front end. So now how we will be just going to access that? Yes, you are right. We are going to use the use selector hook. So to do that, we will close everything, and we're gonna need that specific data we're gonna need is gonna be inside the home main bar. So we will go to that particular location, And in here, what I can do, I can just retrieve the data from the store by using useLetter. To do that, let me just comment all these things because we no longer gonna need this, because this is just to explain to you guys so you can have this question list array for reference. So in here, we're just going to have const questions list, which going to be equal to use selector. So I think we're gonna need this, and this use selector has to be imported from the React Redux from React Redux. So now this state is gonna be like, so this state is nothing but the questions reducer. So questions reducer. So now let me just console log. If the data has been arrived to the front end, we will check is there any error in the meantime. Questions list. So now we will go to the front end and we will just see the console log. Let me just refresh this. So this error is because question list has been accessed in here, so that's why it shows an error. So what we can do, we will just rename this. As of now, we will just rename this, and we will, what we can do, we can just uncomment this. As of now, we will just see is the data has been retrieved from the backend or not. So that's why we are doing this. We will just go to the inspect element now, and we will open the console log, and in the console log you can see there is an object. We will just open that. In there is a data. In that you can see there is the entire question which we are gonna need. So now what we can do, we can use this data to be used inside in here. You can see the data is, the entire array is gonna renamed as data. So inside the question list we do have only one object, which is nothing but the data, and in that array, sorry, data is an array, and in that array we do have every objects. So now we're gonna use this data now. Let me just close this, and we will gonna go here. Now I will have to comment everything, and in here we will now rename this to the questions list. So I have told that the thing is like questions dot data, so we have to see dot data. In here also we're gonna just pass the data. Here is also gonna be like dot data. So now we will go to this question list. We will pass this entire question list. It's like question ID, everything is the same thing. In here also everything remains the same as of now. Now we will go here. Now here we go. You can see our question is now here. We do have 0 answers as of now. We do have the question title tags. Now you can see it is an NAA because we don't have the votes as of now. We have to calculate that. What we can do, we will go here. In here we do have the NA upvotes as, since upvotes is nothing but an array, you can see inside here you can see the upvote is nothing but an array. So now what we're gonna do here, upvotes dot length, which gonna give the total upvote for us and the downvotes as well. So now if we go here, it shows an error, reading length. So this is because there is no length for this particularly. There is no length for this upward as well as downward since their value is null as of now. So that's why it shows an error. So as of now, we will just leave this thing as upwards dot length, and in here also downwards dot length. So we will leave this thing. We will go here. You can see there is no answer as of now. You can see asked there is a entire date for hash. We have to format this date as of now, and you can see everything remains the same thing. Now let me try to go pass through this function. So here nothing has been displayed because we have to use this entire thing in that page also. So now we will go to the specific page, which is nothing but pages, questions, and display question. In here we do have question details. You can see this entire thing has to be removed now, and then we should use the same use selector in here also. So let me just copy the same thing, and I don't need this console log anymore, so let me just comment that. So comment that. In here we're gonna use this question list. We have to import this use selector. So we'll go here, just copy this. We do come here and paste it down. So now it has been used. So in here we have to do the same thing. I need the data. In here it is like question list dot data dot filter, and I think everything remains the same thing as of now. So we will go here. We'll just go to this particular page. So now you can see the question topic, the body of the question, the tags used in this particular question. We do have option click, share and delete, which is not functional as of now, and we do have the time as well as the author for that user who has been asked. In here we have the answer for posting this question also. So now we will try to ask a new question for now, but after asking this question it should not be shown here. That is the main thing. We will look what the bug is now. So to rectify this, we can go to the reducers, and inside the questions we will go here and we will copy this entire same thing. I will explain what happened here right now. Wait for that. To explain that, we will first ask this question. We will ask a random question. So let me just review my question. So you can see there is nothing has worked. We don't have the question as of now in the home page, but if we go to the record, if we refresh, you can see here is another record. So to retrieve this in here without refreshing this page, we can go to the actions. In that particularly the question action, in here after retrieving the data we are sending it to the questions. We are dispatching that question, but after dispatching that single question, what we can do, we can dispatch this entire action so that the so since we are dispatching this entire fetch actions question, this entire process will rerun, and it will display all the questions which has been asked immediately. So if we gonna go here and refresh, you can see the entire question. Now let me just ask a new question. This time it is gonna be another random question. In here I'm just going to review my question. So as soon as I review, there is an error in the question spot list dot map in the question list. So this is because of the loading issue. So that's it. We do have received the data in here. You can see. So that's all guys for this video, because we have retrieved the data from the uh, database to this particular home bar. In the next video we will see how to answer for this question, and then we will concentrate on these functions like upvote, share and delete. So thank you.